So I thought I'd make a video about my video organisation and collection. I've actually talked about this on a live stream before, but I don't feel like I covered it as well as I could have. And suddenly, during production of Bugs Bunny's Easter Funnies, it hit me. This could work for an episode of GT. You know, I've never said this before, but I hate the title to this series. I really don't like it. It's one of my less creative ideas. If this was early in the series and I wasn't using a title sequence, I would have changed it already, probably to something like Storytime with Gondarth or something. Anything's better than what I have right now. But anyways, let's rewind a few years. I'm going to cover a fair few things here, mostly video memories and recordable Fridays, as those relate to my collection more than anything else. So I moved into this current house in January 2015, right around the time of Multilanguage Season 5. I moved in here on January 4th, so the last episode I made in my old house was Cole, episode 86, and the first video I ever made here was Thomason's Stepney.
Arvaa mitä, Severi? Herra päätarkastaja on kutsunut meidät vierailulle. Tapaat rautatien muut veturit.
I'll say this, if you're doing content for YouTube, whether as a career or a hobby, living on your own is so much better. You're guaranteed not to be disturbed. And if anyone is wondering, I only make content for YouTube as a hobby, and I always have. I despise the fact that YouTube is now a career option. So I moved in here back in January 2015, and all I had in that time was a DVD shelf and 2 DVD players, one regular and one Blu-ray. I had no videos whatsoever at the time. This is my house from December 2014. The only thing that hasn't changed in that time is my laptop. I've had this thing for 8 years, and despite dying a couple of years ago, it's still going strong, and I have no plans to replace it or upgrade it. Speaking of which, we're moving up to summer 2016. On June 30th, one day before Chronicles of Gondarth is released, my laptop crapped out on me. As you'd expect, when it was returned to me towards the end of July with no data saved, I was in a pissed off state.
Způsobil si zpoždění a zmatek, řekl mu. Musím tě nahlásit tlustému přednostovi.
I cranked out a multi-language showcase for the Czech Republic. I had that planned long before the laptop died, so that had to be done. After that, I wanted to do something simple and worthwhile, something that wouldn't irritate me. So I decided to show off my VHS collection, my Thomas & Friends collection in particular. It's what I'm most known for, after all. There's just one thing though. I don't have a single video in my collection, so how do I do this? I'll list every video, show each cover, and post an episode from each release. I did just that, and while the effect I wanted was hard to accomplish, I managed to succeed in creating a 4-hour showcase of what I've owned. It's original, I guess. It's a thing I've made, the fans probably care about it more than I do. In January 2017, I made that video about Cartoon Network, and I spent a great deal talking about my love for the channel and the cartoons period that ran every night for 2 hours. What sucks for this video is that I knew I had proof of my love for cartoons, I just didn't have it on my person, and I had no way of capturing footage of videotapes. So in March, I'm house sitting for my mother, and I decide to explore my old bedroom. I came across some recordable VHS tapes, including a cartoons video, the Tom and Jerry movie, and the Broken Nick Jr. video, the one that has nothing but static. At the time, I thought the Nick Jr. tape would be a goldmine for classic Thomas & Friends content. Old 1990s content is usually regarded very highly. I just had to retrieve my VCR. This has been the only working VCR in my family for the past 10 or so years, and as it was in my bedroom, this would be essential. Fortunately, my mother doesn't live far away, so I was able to drag this bulky thing back to my house. I tried to hook it up in my bedroom, and it just would not work. I tried several SCART cables, and not a thing. At this point, I was almost convinced the VCR was genuinely fucked. It had been acting up for a good couple of years before I moved, and this just seemed to continue in my new house. I was super close to going straight to eBay to buy a new VCR when I decided, right, I'm going to try it in the living room. If it doesn't work there, I'll buy a new one. So I take it through to my living room, pop in a Cartoon Network video, and what do you know? It actually works. I was actually speechless at this. I was convinced for so many years that the VCR was on its last legs, and suddenly I hook it up to a different TV, and that fixes all the problems. Now the next question. How do I capture video footage onto my laptop hard drive? I know virtually nothing of what I needed, so I just had to take a wild guess. I used this thing from Applic. as well as 1,000 extra cables as a first option. It did not work. I'm completely inexperienced, so there's a strong possibility I did something wrong. At the same time, that didn't stop me raging at this thing and throwing it full force across the living room. I don't think I have the cable anymore, so you'll just have to take my word for it. So I was still pissed off. I just wanted something that worked. And then I found ArcSoft Showbiz. I found this thing a couple of days later. It's a bit pricier than the last option, but the reviews are incredibly positive. I was in a bit of a reckless mood at this point, so fuck it, I'll try anything, just so I can get this done. The cable arrives, I hook it up, install the software, and now I need a video to capture. What do I use? Why, I used the video I wanted to capture and share on YouTube back in 2007, the one that sparked an interest in sharing my video content. I retrieve the video from the old house, pop it in, set up the software, and holy shit on a platter, it actually works. And as I was able to retrieve the rest of my recordable videos, I can now do what I wanted to do for 10 long years. And suddenly, that gives me an idea for a new series. Something I had never done before. I have a mass amount of videos. TV continuity is a popular demand on YouTube. I have to have some good stuff in here somewhere. And thus, Recordable Fridays was born. 15 videos and 2 DVDs to go through, each with an ungodly amount of content, giving me 1 video a week every Friday for 6 months. Woo! I love this video collection. Dealing with all 15 of these was very time consuming between capturing and converting. I mean, processing tape number 5 took over 36 hours from capturing to conversion. But I love to have it all organised in numerical order and on Google Drive. Every video I've ever covered in Recordable Fridays is here at my disposal should I need anything for video memories or whatever. So my recordable videos are all here. Still no home videos. Fast forward to May 18th, 2017. My mother wants to get my old bedroom emptied. Yeah, it was full of junk for about 2 years, nothing touched. We were doing bits at a time. I figured the easiest thing to collect at visit would be my video collection. They're easy to access, and I have a pack of spare empty boxes. Fantastic, let's pack them up without breaking my neck on the snooping feline. So in these boxes here, we have my entire collection. At the time, but I'll get to that in a minute. So eventually, these heavy boxes were shifted to my house. There's just one problem. Where do I put them? I only have one shelf and it's being used for DVDs, and I don't even have enough room under my bed. Shit. So at this point, I had to keep them in 3 boxes, in the hall cupboard. 3 heavy boxes, full of videos, stacked on top of one another. Oh yeah, and after episode 10 of GT, they were all organised in alphabetical order. I need convenience after all. So they were all dumped in that cupboard in alphabetical order. Should you want a video later in the alphabet, such as Toy Story, good luck getting that. So now I have everything, and I have a working VCR, and I have capture software. Booyah! I still haven't shared much. I have very little to offer that hasn't been seen at this point. But my collection is there. There's still some videos missing. There's a few Rugrats videos, as well as linking to and a few videos from a TV show called Jack and Ori. I've also added a few videos since last May. I'm sure there's people out there who would buy anything relating to something they like, even if they've never owned the release before. As for me, I have a simple rule. I cannot buy a release I haven't already experienced in the past 25 years. Postman Pat is okay. Tiny Toon Adventures, not okay. There's a reason this rule exists. So if it's not clear at this point, after the past 2 years, I like telling stories on YouTube. I've done it in Chronicles, I've done it in GT, I enjoy telling stories about my life. A few days after retrieving my collection, I was dealing with a strange desire. I wanted to make a video for one of the first videos I ever owned, Troublesome Trucks and Other Stories. It was a big part of my life, and I feel like I hadn't done the video justice up to that point. There's just one problem. I didn't own the video anymore. My original copy broke about 15 years ago, and I didn't necessarily want to buy it again if I wasn't going to watch it regularly. I fought with this urge for about a week, and eventually I caved. I bought myself a new copy, and a new series was born. So episode 1 is Troublesome Trucks. I didn't expect this to become a big thing. And then the ideas started coming in. One video release I see very little of on the internet is my little mini-vid. I could probably do something for that. And The Lion King, that was my childhood, I have to do that one. And that shitty rental store, Global Video, I could talk about Escape. And then there's the comparison, rental versus purchase. What do I remember buying? Of course, Spooks and Surprises. Holy shit, there's a lot I could cover. Halfway through minivid, I came to a long overdue conclusion. This video arrangement really sucks. I've done 2 Thomas videos for Video Memories. Constantly moving these boxes is a nightmare. I need to put them somewhere else. And suddenly it occurs to me. That cupboard next to the oven has been empty for 2 years. It's practically perfect. There was no hesitation on this one. These boxes had to go. Quickly unload and move into the cupboard, all while maintaining organisation. Now I know what you're thinking. There's 128 videos in that cupboard. How on earth do I keep track of what's in there? Why, I'm glad you asked. I have an organised list on Notepad. Every single video cassette in that cupboard is on this list. Each and every one is organised by level, row and column. If I need to get, say, Singing Kettle News or Johnny English, I know exactly where to go. That being said, there is one irritating thing about the cupboard. As I mentioned during Bugs Bunny's Easter Funnies, getting something from the back can be a pain. It takes longer than just reaching for something in the front. It doesn't matter too much, it still beats having to move boxes, but it can be slightly irritating if I know the row of the video but not where it goes in the column. It could be the top, the bottom, I can't remember. If my memory does go a little hazy, the list is absolutely essential and is always there to guide. The list also has to be updated every time I make a new purchase, and there's been a fair few purchases since Video Memories began. Once again, I experienced these videos before. Maybe I lost the original video, maybe a family member owned them and I decided they could be potentially useful to me, or maybe I just stole the video from my cousin and he never found out because I'm a dickwad that way. Nah, I'm a nice guy normally, but my grandmother was moving from our old house in Fife and the videos had to go somewhere. Finders keepers as far as I'm concerned. With Video Memories, the ideas just kept on flowing. Thomas and Friends, Disney movies, Tom and Jerry, Fast and Furious, Singing Kettle, Back to the Future. The ideas were always there. If I owned a video and I had a story to tell, I'm usually good to go. That's the whole gist of Video Memories. I can review videos based on my personal history and it usually turns out well. I mean, Jesus, I absolutely bashed Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and I still had a story to tell. It was short, but it was still a story. Stories almost always have to be involved in this series. And that brings us to April 2018. It's been 10 months and we're over 30 episodes into this series. I didn't expect the series to come this far, but if I have an idea, I'm going to go with it. As for how far this series is going to go, I'm not overly sure. I have a plan to get the series up to 50 episodes, at the very least. Similar to the last 2 seasons of the multi-language series, I have a list of everything I hope to go through over the next 18 episodes. I'm 99% sure that my list will work out. I am rarely 100% sure on things. What I am 100% sure of is what I plan on ending the series with. I am closing with a video I love, and have mentioned before. A few months ago, while compiling my list of potential video candidates, I knew I'd have to end with a certain release. You know, I'll say one more thing about it. It was released by Polygram Video. So it's a video I love, I've mentioned it before, and it was released by Polygram. Figure it out from there. If you enjoy Video Memories, stay tuned for content for the rest of the year. We now return to normal programming.